What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Explain It to Me. I want to get our guests in really fast just because I was watching Daniel dancing to the theme music. So I'm just going to bring him right back in.
That's some rockin' music, man. I loved
it. So when we started this show, I had like some just real chill lo-fi music on it. And Molly was like, this is not, we need something more upbeat. So I found like the complete opposite. And we still have yet to find anything better.
It's basically from like the soundtrack of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
So welcome, Daniel Miller and Chris Ryans from Broaxium. They're Star Wars friends, but they're also comic book nerds. So I thought they'd be perfect for this. And yeah, we're going to talk about episode 3 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But before that, I just want to ask both of you, what's your fandom like with the MCU? Like, how deep does it go? Do you read the comics? What's your history been?
Well, I work for a comic shop in Philadelphia called Atomic City Comics, but and I tell you truthfully, I don't read a whole bunch of Marvel books, but I know some of the the history and try to keep up on things. I'm more a DC guy than anything else, yeah. What I've read, like Civil War, like that's sort of where I left off. Was like after Civil War and Secret Invasion, Fear Itself, like around that time, but yeah, they've been coming out with some fantastic stuff since then. Yeah.
Myself, growing up, my buddy and I used to go to this place called Claude's Comics right down the street. There was a black lab that always hung out there. It's mainly the reason why I would go. But I really got sucked into the Maximum Carnage series, Spider-Man, Venom, all of that good stuff, Carnage. Mm-hmm. And that's what really kind of drew me into Marvel and all of their stuff. But I grew up like watching all of the DC, cartoons and everything that came out with that. And then recently, like only a few years ago, I got back into reading Marvel comics. The Secret Wars was one of my favorites. Loved that whole thing they did with that. They had Planet Hulk, Iron Wars, a lot of that good stuff. But mainly big Star Wars nerd. But yes, I love the MCU. I love how they've been bringing all of this stuff to life. And these episodic TV shows that they've been doing is amazing.
What have you both thought about the series so far? Specifically, did you like WandaVision, and then how are you feeling about The Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yeah, I really dug WandaVision. Yeah. Even from the first episode, I'm like, all right, this is going somewhere weird and cool. So let's just see where it goes. I was very patient with what they were doing with that.
I was not patient. I was like, what's happening? I'm like, am I watching I Love Lucy? Am I watching what's happening right now? And then we got to that last end of the third episode, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, you've got my attention. I was that guy, but I wasn't. I was waiting, and I was trying to be patient. But man, did they really turn that show up? It was awesome. Loved it.
As far as Falcon and Winter Soldier go, within the MCU, my favorite movie is the first Cap and the second Captain America Winter Soldier. So this series is everything I love about the MCU right now, since its inception. So I'm very happy with this series, and this third episode was probably my favorite so far.
I agree with him 100%. Winter Soldier is my top MCU movie. It was the most intense. Like my heart the whole time was like, what's happening? Is Samuel going to get out of this? Like there was so much stuff, that elevator scene, like everything that they did, they made it like real serious and real intense, and just like you were waiting for something to explode, and really good. And I'm feeling that same feeling with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like it's getting real intense. You don't know exactly what's happening, and it's like you're just waiting for that powder keg to go.
Yeah.
Ashton, Molly, how did you feel about today's episode?
I liked it a lot. There was a ton of action. It was very fast-paced. I've been waiting for Sharon to show up, so I was really pumped to see her. And can she get more badass? I mean, I think she can, but she was amazing in this episode. She kicked so much butt. So. And Zemo surprised me. He is kind of a cool villain.
Finally.
Yes. Love that coat.
Oh yeah.
Eat that coat.
I like his little butler too. He has like his own Alfred.
Oh yeah. It's like airplane Alfred.
Yeah, feed him the expired food. Good joke, sir.
Do you think that food has been on that plane like since he's been in prison?
Probably.
Has that butler been standing there by that plane just waiting for years?
So diligent.
Why he's so old?
Yeah, no, I
think?
loved this episode. I thought this was the best episode of the show so far. I really like that they're like branching out and doing some exposition of what the rest of the world is like in the MCU, besides just like America and Sokovia and like the places where the big stuff's happening. Like they're really traveling a lot in this show, which I love.
What was that branch of government called right at the beginning? I can't pull it up.
GRC is what I wrote that down.
Global something's
Repatriation Council.
I didn't want to
Yeah,
say
I think
that
that's
wrong.
it.
Yeah, it's the thing that's like helping people get back into their lives after the blip.
Yeah, you have to
Is that
imagine-
anything from the comics, or is that feels like something just created for?
That's
blip?
definitely for this. That's definitely for this. Yeah.
I also like this episode a lot. I am getting a different vibe from it from WandaVision, obviously, but this one definitely feels less episodic and more just like a long stretched out movie.
Yeah.
But I still feel like this one had a cool kind of just tying together theme of like, what does everyone do when they're pushed to their limits, where we see like what Sharon has done to survive these past few years. And we see that Carly is starting to go a little too far. Walker is starting to crack. And I like just seeing everyone get pushed in this episode.
Just knowing what happens with U.S. Agent with the new Captain America from this show and what he becomes in the comics as far as U.S. Agent goes. I'm just waiting for him to when's he about to snap? It's coming.
We've talked
he's
about
starting.
him.
Yeah, he's like starting. Like his interaction with that guy that let the Flag Smasher stay at his place. You know
who I am?
Yeah.
I was like,
I love that.
Here it comes.
Yeah, that guy just like, I don't care. It was like, like that.
The spit in the face. I was like, did anybody think COVID the second that guy spit in his face? I was like,
he's safe.
God, yeah.
He's safe.
Ew.
Social distancing.
Yeah.
I wrote down something that just hadn't occurred to me, that John, works for the GRC. He was a soldier first. He was a soldier before he was Captain America. Steve was never a soldier. Like he wanted to be, but he was Captain America first. And I really like seeing that kind of difference.
He had all of the best ideals of like what a soldier should be without like all the messed up
ego,
like trauma and ego. Yeah.
Well, he wasn't, obedient to, like, he wasn't working for the government. He didn't have to do what they told him to do, and he didn't have that like drilled into him.
And I think that's even what Erskine says in the first Cap, is that he's getting to do this not because he's a good soldier, but because he's a good man.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
And they went with Walker. I mean, his introduction, it's like, okay, he seems all right, but obviously they're pushing him and revealing more and more about him. But it seems like they went with him because he's a good soldier.
Yeah.
Right. And he even says in the first, what was it? The first Avenger or whatever. He says to Cap, well, Chris Evans, it enhances everything about you, the serum, like everything, your goodness, your strength. And he was just a genuine, 100% genuine dude. And I feel like that's why he was the best of the super soldiers. Like, that's why he was so much more powerful, I guess, because of his heart.
That's a good point. I think that's going to be really important for what happens with U.S. Agent, because, assuming that he does go the route of ending up trying to take the super soldier serum to make himself more important. Like, what's that going to enhance about him?
I've been thinking that the whole time, where I'm like, is this guy going to end up like, did he get the serum in the comics? Yeah, I figured. Is this going to be like an Abomination thing? Like,
no. But,
the comics he got it from the Power Broker, actually.
Yeah. So he's going to straddle that line. He's going to go. He's probably, well, who knows how they're going to do it in the MCU, but he kind of walked that line in the comics. And I think went full villain at one point, then came back, or he's working with like Dr. Doom or something like that. So yeah, expect him to definitely go to the dark side a bit.
Well, Chris, what do you think from what we've seen so far? What do you expect we might see that will push him over the edge?
He may get worked over a couple times too many, and maybe that'll make him snap. I think also the resistance that Falcon and Bucky have towards him.
I think that with everybody that he's gonna run into, like, you're not the real
he wants
Cap.
he wants respect.
Yeah,
he wants that respect. So, and people are like, yeah, they think you're not the real Cap or anything like that. So expect something like that to really, crack at his armor for sure.
Yeah, he thinks that carrying the shield and wearing the suit just means automatic respect. It's like, no, you got to earn that. But he's just going to go. I think we talked about this last week, that he'll just be like, well, if I had the super serum, then they'll respect me.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. And I love how they've incorporated the Truth Red, White, and Black graphic novel with Isaiah Bradley into this story. I'm so happy that they finally did that. And again, when they show his grandson, they're setting up the Young Avengers. So
even more.
I'm very happy about that. Yeah.
Do you think we're going to see those characters more? I hope we do. But I think there's still a lot more to explore there.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah, there's like Speed and Wiccan and WandaVision, and then
and if they're doing something with the Skrulls later on, then there's Hulkling right there. So there's him. Who else is left?
Kate Bishop.
Yeah, Miss Marvel. Whenever they do something with Kamala Khan. I'm trying to think who else.
That show's coming, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And also, one of the things is I loved about this series is that they are that we get to see now that they can do it episodically instead of trying to cram everything into 2 hours or whatever for a movie, is that they're humanizing and showing, like, on the ground level, the impact of the snap and what that does, and like what that does for the economy and government and people, and trying to get back to their lives and whatnot. So it's fantastic to see.
I can't give you a loan. You haven't made money in 5 years. I was like,
I've been dust, sir.
Yeah. We were laughing at do you guys watch Parks and Rec at all?
Yeah,
I don't.
Definitely have. Yes.
There's like this parody commercial at one point that, I don't know, the beginning little commercial for the GRC. Molly was like, oh, it's like that Exxon Valdez Verizon commercial where they're like all these corporations
Chipotle.
Combined.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, Chipotle. It's like Verizon Exxon, but it's like very propaganda-y. And that's just, Molly was like, that feels like a fake commercial. And the smash cut from that to like these army dudes getting out of this GRC van, you're just like, immediately, that's not what they're really about.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see and learn about, I'm jumping ahead, but that the scientist guy, he got blipped, and like how that ended up giving him an in with the bad guys, basically.
Yeah, he was working for the bad guys, and then he was working for the good guys, and he was working for the bad guys again. Yeah. Because he got blipped. Yeah. So yeah, his name is Wilfred Nagel.
Yeah, Nagel.
Is he from the comics?
I don't think. I think he had a different name I know there have been a few different people that have worked on super soldier serums. There was one in Madripoor, but it wasn't Nagel, I don't think.
Yeah, he was.
If I remember right, it's been a while.
He definitely played a really creepy guy. I was like, you don't want this guy making serum. And I like how he explained though how Emphas Nest, that's all I can refer her as,
Carly,
has the super strength and stuff, but isn't this bulky person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I like how he explained how he's like perfecting it,
Yeah, he's like, I streamlined it so it's not super obvious that these people are super soldiers.
Yeah, I like that they actually did explain that, like, and it wasn't just sort of like hand waved, like, oh yeah, these people don't look like they could lift a car, but they can,
And I mean, like,
for that.
Steve had to go through that whole like process, with all the injections, and then he had to be in that radiation light or whatever they were doing with him.
Vita rays.
Yeah.
There you go.
I guess it's because like his whole frame changed. Like his skeleton would have been like shattered by by his muscles getting bigger and stuff. I guess I don't know.
Good old 4D super science.
Yeah.
I really liked that little bit of his story though, where he's like, I was working for Hydra and I was getting close, and then I got hired by the CIA, and it reminded me I'm watching For All Mankind as well right now, which is like this alternate history of what if the Russians beat us to the moon. And they kind of get into how Werner von Braun, who worked for NASA, worked for the Nazis. And it's like, America has in the past, like, we'll work for shitty scientists. We don't care what you've done if you can help us out in this moment. That's just what that reminded me of.
Apparently he is from the comics.
Yeah.
Right,
he was the guy that created Isaiah.
Okay, yeah.
Cool.
So they just took that idea and kind of like spliced it in. Okay.
Yeah, they just kind of used that name for the modern guy instead.
Yeah.
Well, there was still a relationship with Isaiah because he said that's
he used his blood sample.
Yeah, but he wasn't the one that actually did the experiments on Isaiah and everything.
Yeah.
I love how these scientists like don't care who they're working for. They're just like into the work. Like they don't care who's funding them. They're just like, whatever, you're gonna destroy the world with it or whatever. I just want to figure it out. Like,
it's like not my department.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like give me a cool lab and a record player and I'm good.
You can keep your morals.
Exactly.
I just want to do the work.
It's the Ian Malcolm scene in Jurassic Park. Like you got to decide whether or not you should, and not if you could.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's always the mark of a bad scientist.
Yeah.
That's what makes one a mad scientist.
They're all about coulda, not about shoulda.
I hope that we do get to see some kind of a flashback scene where Isaiah's Cap is fighting Winter Soldier. I really would like to see that.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I was gonna say earlier, I was like, I wonder if we'll see Isaiah again, and then I was like, oh man, a flashback would be awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
Especially if we got to see him like destroy the arm or whatever,
Yeah.
Like that fight.
I wonder if he still has it.
He was not happy.
Oh yeah, if he still has like the end of the arm.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I wonder if he'll like in the present time be back in the show, but he really seemed like he didn't want any part of what they were doing. Yeah. Do you guys think we'll see him again?
I hope.
I think so, though.
Hope.
I think if not him, his son,
grandson.
Yeah, Garrett's grandson. Right. That storyline isn't over yet. They're not just going to throw that little. I think that's definitely going to be something because he's definitely a key to the super soldier serum.
I mean,
perfect.
They also cast someone that's fairly well known, and it seems like more than just a guest appearance. It seems like they could be planning for future series or just the future of this series, maybe. But yeah, I think there's definitely some cool stuff to do, and a Winter Soldier flashback would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome is that actor, and I keep forgetting his name, but he was also the voice actor for Martian Manhunter in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, which I think is really cool. And he was Martian Manhunter's father in Supergirl. The Supergirl series is on CW right now.
Nice. I really loved in this episode, recent episode with totally off topic, but I love this recent episode where when Winter Soldier comes into the jail cell and the guy Zemo starts saying the words. And I was literally thinking that. I'm like, what happens if someone actually repeats those words? Is he free from the mind whammy or not? And it still bothers him a lot. Like, I feel like there's still something that itches at the back of his mind when he hears those words. I thought that was really cool.
As he was walking in, I was like, he's just going to say the words again. I'm glad they addressed it right away.
Yeah.
It's like, don't listen, Bucky. Don't listen to him.
Don't do
it. Well, I loved Bucky's story in this one where, like, he's been trying to abandon the Winter Soldier, but he literally has to pretend to be him and beat a bunch of people up. And Zemo's like, oh, it didn't take a whole lot for him to fall back into old ways. I loved that scene in the bar.
Yeah.
That was really good.
I love what they're doing with the Zemo character, as opposed to what they did in Civil War. That was yeah. As opposed to what they did with him in Civil War. I thought I was just like, oh, they made Baron Zemo just some dude. Like it's just, I mean, some guy who's angry that his family got killed, of course. But I was like, where's the jacket with the fur? Where's the purple mask? Like, give me.
What's the mask about? Is it special at all, or is it just a baklava?
It's a family thing.
Yeah. In the comics, he and his father both have like disfigurements in their face from this agent. I think it was called Agent X, if I remember right. There was like this chemical that they got exposed to, and so they wear the mask because they're disfigured, basically.
Okay.
They kind of look like Deadpool.
Okay. So it's literally just a mask. It doesn't offer any, I don't know, powers or protection.
In the comics, sometimes he would put like cybernetics in it so that he could block psychic attacks, but that wasn't a constant thing. Sometimes it was just a mask.
Cool.
Yeah, I loved how that guy's whole laboratory, Nagel's laboratory, was in all of those like shipping containers or Connex boxes or whatever people call them. It's great because I actually build these giant UPS systems in these shipping containers. So I'm like, oh yeah, you can do other things with them too. A whole laboratory.
Anything you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now every time I see a bunch of them, I'm like, is there a secret lab in there somewhere?
Yep.
Also, one of Zemo's favorite like tools to use is basically just super glue. So, like, he has this thing called Adhesive X that his father created that is super glue, except it has like a special solvent. And so I'm excited to see if he ends up. I don't think that he will because it's pretty silly, but it would be funny if he ends up using that in the show.
They might make a nod to it.
That feels like an excellent setup to like gluing Bucky and Sam together, and then having them deal with that.
Yeah.
Their dynamic has been nothing but fantastic these 3 episodes. Like he says to Bucky, he's like, this man hasn't met anybody he hasn't killed. Like, yeah. He's like, I heard that. I'm loving every second of when they were talking with the psychologist too. He's like, you guys haven't. I know we saw that with the previews and stuff, but seeing it actually in the show, I was like, this is great. They're having a staring contest. Like, this is such boy stuff. Really funny.
A little bit more of it, honestly. I could use a little extra banter in every episode, but there's still at least one good solid moment for them every single episode. So the past 2 episodes because they weren't together in the first. But when they escape the shipping container and they're like, you're supposed to go left. I went right. I came up first. You're supposed to follow me. There's a barricade. And they're just
It's like, have you ever seen action movies before?
It's in every action movie. Yeah. I love when Anthony Mackie's character, they're walking into the city and he's like, why am I the only one dressed like a pimp?
I love that too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's talk about so Madripoor. I've seen some people in the chat saying that Smiling Tiger is a character.
He's
like a minor character.
Yeah, he's a real super minor character.
I saw something about Madripoor being related to X-Men.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's in Marvel and comics in general, but yeah, it's mostly used for X-Men stories. Like, I'm pretty sure it was a Fox property as far as copyright goes. So that's something they only recently could actually use, I think.
We thought it was Hong Kong at first because we just watched Godzilla vs. Kong and it just looks the same.
It does.
There was like another movie that used this same trope when they're walking out of the bar and everybody's getting the message that there's a bounty on it. What other? I can't think of it.
John Wick.
Yes. Yeah. All right. I was like, this feels familiar.
And Mandalorian too.
Mandalorian.
Yep. Oh okay.
Yeah. It was
all the beeps. I liked the way they handled it though, where they kind of like hear the beeps and they're like, "This isn't good," and they start to like hurry.
Let's go.
Let's get out of here.
So I saw it was up higher, but SD Sekiro said that they were recording Bucky fighting in that bar, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," because that could come back to haunt him.
Oh yeah,
with his pardon. where someone could be like, look, Winter Soldiers with Baron Zemo fighting people.
Yeah, I could see maybe that becoming like something that, well, because U.S. Agent and Battlestar were talking about how they can't go after them unless they have evidence.
Yeah, they do.
So like maybe
Yeah,
that
they
becomes kind of the evidence to explain why he's allowed to really go after Bucky.
No, I think you're exactly right, because they were like,
Yeah.
we can't pin them on helping Zemo escape without evidence, and now there's the Winter Soldier and there's Zemo.
Mhm.
Hawk said something really cool about the end.
Oh yeah, we'll get to
Wakanda, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
Ao.
get to that.
Is that her name?
Oh, let's
I think so,
Screw
yeah.
it. Let's talk about it, because that man, I don't know why I didn't think that would connect into this story, but it makes perfect sense, especially with Bucky.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Sorry. They mentioned Wakanda earlier and
Mhm.
like how they're never gonna forget, what
What he did.
what he did. So I was shocked, but also not shocked. I was like, oh, that makes sense why she's also hunting him down.
I also just really loved the way that Bucky reacted to that. Like he saw the Wakanda tech and he was like, I got to go handle this on my own, because he has that sort of connection with the Wakandans because he was there for so long. And so he was like, I'm going to go talk to them on my own, like, and deal with it.
Mhm.
I mean, it is the mess that he created all on his own, letting
Yeah.
Zemo out. So I'm sure he's going to try his best to explain what's happening and be like, can you kill him like in
After-
3 episodes?
Yeah, in
they're
like
gonna
a
make
week or
deal.
something.
I
We got something
definitely
here. I need
feel
a
like he's
minute.
gonna make a deal with her, and she's gonna be like, "I'm watching you," and like she's gonna help out until Zemo's done his end of the deal, and then I think that's when she's gonna.
I
try
hope
to,
she becomes a part of the team.
Oh, that'd be
That's what I'm
great.
saying. That's what I was. That's
that
what
would
I'm
be
hoping.
so dope.
Like,
Yeah,
what
just-
like it would be really cool if she becomes part of the team, and the deal is that like when they're done, she gets to take Zemo to Wakanda
Mhm.
to be in
That's-
prison there.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I was
That'd be
thinking.
cool.
That's what
Yeah.
I was about to ask. How do you think her coming in is going to affect the story moving forward? And that's perfect.
Either that or she just is there to kill him.
Yeah, like maybe.
It's like, nah.
I like
couldn't
the
have- he
idea though
couldn't
that
have-
she's.
Like he couldn't have done anything to piss them off worse. So
Right.
yeah,
I like the idea that she's there to help until like Zemo is no longer invaluable, and then stab or handcuffs or whatever.
But as we saw from his skills, he's probably going to get away.
Oh yeah,
Zemo's
he's
going to get away. Yeah, he is slimy. He is. If you guys are anime fans at all, he is. He reminds me of Frieza a little bit, like from Dragon Ball.
I can't decide. Like he's definitely a cool a cool villain to introduce, just to be like, yeah, is he going to get away or not? Because right now I like that their motives are all aligned at this moment. But obviously he's going to try to escape.
Yeah, I hope he gets away so that he can
Keep wearing
so they
that
can have some
jacket.
villains that'll come. Keep wearing the jacket
Mhm.
and the mask, but so that he can come back, because they do need some reoccurring villains, because they're like killing them all.
Well, and also
mean-
it's like he's actually one of the only like interesting characters that's left. That's Hydra,
Yeah,
So if they want to keep using Hydra, they kind of need somebody interesting that's
Yeah.
affiliated with them.
Is he Hydra?
Oh yeah. Well, in the comics, he is.
In the comics,
Yeah,
I couldn't
definitely
remember
Nazi.
if he.
definitely
and
not.
he's, and he's
Yeah.
slick. I mean, the way he pulled that getting out of jail thing, like it was nothing. Like that guy is like super calm, and he seems to just know exactly what he's going to do. I feel like he's a couple of steps ahead of everyone, because he just seems too calm to be someone who feels like he's just going to get arrested again. Like,
I mean, the whole prison escape was, again, like we were talking about people being pushed too far, and I was like, Bucky, you may have just killed some prisoners. Like that note that he popped on the table, it's like,
Yeah, somebody
kill
got
that
shanked.
guy before he kills you. And I was like, dude, really?
a lot of collateral damage.
Like just,
There's been a lot of killing people in this show, like a surprising amount.
I mean, we haven't talked about Sharon much yet. Molly mentioned her earlier, but her fighting and like shooting people, I was like, damn,
Wow.
Mhm.
Well, she's living a kind of like a life of
On the run.
not crime, but like she's in
kinda.
with some rough crowd. So
Yeah.
she can handle herself, and we definitely saw that in this.
that
episode.
shield training is intense. Like,
Yeah.
wow. She was
Yeah,
definitely
just
killing
like throwing knives into people's arms, and they do a good job of keeping it PG-13, but also making you like.
Oh, they're pushing.
Feel it.
They're pushing that boundary. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
For sure. And then, who was that person that she got into the car with? Like, what is that? Is that also like a SHIELD person, or is that? Do we know what organization that is?
I think maybe she's working for Nick Fury still.
I think there's something bigger going on with her.
do too.
I think she's putting on a front right now. I think she's definitely not what she says she is. Because when I saw that moment where she got in the car, she was passing herself on as someone who's barely holding on, and I think she's just gaining this trust that she needs from these guys. But she's there's a whole other level with her. And yeah.
What if she's a Skrull?
Oh no!
Everyone's a Skrull now.
Yeah,
Either that or the person.
You know what?
with her.
You can't even put that. You can't even make that as a joke because I'm like, yeah, she could be.
Yeah,
Secret
Like, no,
invasion's
she
coming.
totally could be.
yeah. I did think it was kind of messed up the way that that Sam was like trying to like haggle with her about her pardon. Like you would think that it's like she helped you steal the shield and stuff. Like why wouldn't you just be like, hey, no matter what, I'm going to help you, but can you help? Like you would think that would be what the conversation would be like, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Plus,
she Sorry, go ahead.
he says like, I can help clear your name, but like he can't even get a bank loan. So like,
like what are you gonna do, Sam?
can
Yeah.
you?
so maybe he knows he's going to have a hard time actually helping.
It's all good intentions.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
even seem like it's that important to her. Like at the end, she was just like, yeah, and about that pardon, don't forget about that. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And she wasn't treating it like it. So I definitely think there's a whole other layer to her.
Well, I mean, if she's working for Fury, then it isn't really that big of a deal for her because she's probably right where she wants to be in Madripoor as like an agent.
Yeah. I mean, I see people suggesting that she's working for the power broker.
I hope we get to see who that is.
I'm sure
soon.
that feels like something that'll happen.
That feels like the new captain guy. They're gonna meet.
Oh, they've got to.
Well, because in the comics, he and Battlestar both get the super soldier serum from Power Broker. So,
Also, how about both Russells being in the MCU?
Kurt and Wyatt.
Right?
That was like real world Russells.
Every time I
Love
look
it.
at him, I'm like, he looks like Kurt.
I did not know that. Yeah, that was that Kurt was his father until recently.
yeah.
I've seen
Secretly.
Wyatt Russell in so many things, and I just didn't know he was related to Kurt
Oh.
Russell.
Like secretly, that guy's a planet.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that either. I just cool.
Ooh, that's not a bad theory. Someone said is it Doom Skeletor 13. Yeah.
Oh, could be. That could lead into the She-Hulk stuff too.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, because Abomination's going to come back for the She-Hulk show, right? Tim Roth.
Maybe.
I think so.
I
think so.
I thought I read that somewhere.
But I hope that they find a way to do like their, non-funny-ish version of the Suicide Squad with the Thunderbolts. So I'm hoping that gets its live-action debut as well.
What are the Thunderbolts?
They're pretty much like a lot of bad guys and criminals and things like that, like super criminals. It's like Suicide Squad, but
Okay.
less.
So
less
and
weird.
does Ross kind of oversee them? Is he their Amanda Waller?
I know that at one point Red Hulk, who's General Ross, was in the Thunderbolts. I don't know if he is a part of it on an administration level or not, but I think that's something that they could find a way to bring that in, especially with the fake Cap right now. They could definitely do something because I think he was involved with the Thunderbolts at one point too. U.S. agent.
Is this show happening? Is Winter Soldier and Falcon happening in parallel with WandaVision?
No.
Because this is all after the blip. I never
I think
looked
it's a
into
few
it.
months. It's a few months later.
I
Okay.
believe
Yeah.
Sam said 6 months. He's been working with the military again.
And
at the start
Wanda
of
was
the
like
show.
2 weeks after the blip, basically,
Gotcha.
or a matter of weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 3 weeks. I can't remember, but it was like single-digit weeks.
Mhm. Which is interesting because this show is supposed to come out first,
hmm
and then
Which still, I
WandaVision-
think that makes so much sense just because this show is so much more straightforward. Like, yes, this is a Marvel show, action and like the comedy and stuff. And then you get WandaVision and you're like, what is this? But
it worked.
yeah, it did.
Beautifully. Yeah.
So do we think Sharon Carter is coming back? Or is she? It almost felt like she could have left the show and been in one episode, but like she's in all of the credits for every episode so far.
Mm-hmm.
I think she'll definitely be back, especially if she's indeed working with Nick Fury. It would be cool if we got a Nick Fury cameo.
Oh
Yeah. And I mean, she may also be working for the Power Broker. Like, that may be her role.
Her undercover
to like
thing.
infiltrate the Power Broker.
Level, secret spy level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just
What
feel
is
like
she? Go ahead, Dan.
I just feel like the way she got in that car, we were definitely not seeing the end of it. Like,
No,
they wouldn't have
it's
just
gonna be
introduced
more.
that new person she was with without thinking, she's coming back.
Are there any hints from her story in the comic? Because she's Agent 13.
Yeah.
Is that her?
Yeah. She was prominent, especially in the which was my favorite era of the Marvel comics, was when Cap died, and it was Bucky and everyone, like, trying to keep things going in his honor, finding the truth behind his death and everything. That's a tough one. I don't know. She's got to be more important to this story going forward. Has to be.
I mean, it makes sense that Steve isn't dead, but he's gone. And so, like, yeah, that she comes back in during this time of upheaval. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about Sam and his mental place on the shield right now, where he's like, I shouldn't have given it to the museum. I should have destroyed it.
He realizes now he shouldn't have got rid of it.
I like Bucky's mindset on the shield, because I like that he actually trusted Cap so much that when he chose Sam to take the shield, he's like, when Sam gave it away, he's like, well, if he's wrong about you, then he was wrong about me. And he's having this like crisis almost, and it was really important to him.
But I totally get Sam's meaning behind it. And, just like when in the comics, when Falcon became Captain America, a lot of fans were not happy with that. Just like they didn't want a black Captain America. So that's why I think that's why Sam did what he did. He's like, he knows nobody's going to want that. They're going to want the actual Captain. They're not going to want him as Captain America. So I think that's why he gave it up. Yeah.
I mean, he
doesn't think that America is ready for Black Captain America, but
Well,
we in fact
they're not even ready for Captain. I mean, they can't even accept this guy.
Right.
As Cap.
Well, we've been asking this question now every week, because it seems like part of the story of the show is going to be Sam accepting the mantle, and by the end of it being Captain America. Do you think that's where it's headed?
Yeah, I hope so. Definitely hope so. But it feels like that. It feels like he's, it's almost the journey of a hero, where he's denying, that calling, and that shield is the his lightsaber, his, whatever. It's going to be his symbol to be Captain America. And he right now he's going through that denial stage. And eventually I feel like the show's going to end up with him accepting it. Bucky is pushing him, and Bucky's trying to make him realize that,
this is his calling. This is what he should be doing.
Cap chose you. Steve chose you. And Steve is like the best of all of us, and it means a lot. So I definitely think that's where it's going to go.
I think that if there's a second season of basically this show, I don't think it'll be called Falcon and Winter Soldier again. Like, it'll be Captain America and somebody else. Because like that's the whole thing is he's supposed to become Captain America, not be Falcon with the shield.
I mean, with the shield in between their names in the logo, it's like it's right there, like telling you that this is
one of them, but it's most likely it's going to be Sam Wilson. So
I mean, I don't think Bucky would want it.
Yeah, I would love to see him as Cap, because he was for a bit in the comics. So I would love to see that. But it's going to be Sam.
Maybe they stick together and they share it. You get it on the weekends,
Monday, Tuesday.
Shared
custody battle. There's a custody battle for the shield.
I get it Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Sam might feel like flying sometimes. Yeah. He might miss the sky.
Take my wings. Give me the shield.
That's a good question. When Sam was Captain America in the comics, did he still have the wings, or was he just a completely different? Okay.
Yeah, he still had the wings.
Yeah, I mean,
his
why give up what you're great at?
Because you're not getting rid of the wings. Those are
that's his thing.
Yeah. Well, and he still had Red Wing and all that. So.
Yeah. So expect to see some kind of an awesome costume change by, I guess, the 6th episode. And I cannot wait to see what they do with the new look for Cap, for Sam Wilson's Cap.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Bucky did say, like, I'd take it rather than it be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we're just seeing Sam's process of accepting it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A good question here from Robo Geoff is, why is the shield so important to be Captain America? And it's a symbol, and they keep saying it the whole time. It represents, how great Steve Rogers was and what he represented. Yeah, and I think that's that's why it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and from a nerdy comic standpoint, it also sort of just pairs up with the shield was made out of an alloy that they never were able to recreate, and Steve was made using a super soldier serum that they were never really able to recreate exactly. And so they kind of go hand in hand, like Captain America and the shield are part of the same character.
Definitely.
Did Sam ever get the super soldier serum, or cool?
No.
Yeah, I kind of
because all the ones that came later had problems. Like the Power Broker one had all sorts of issues, and I think there were some other ones, like they were mostly with the X-Men and mutants and stuff, but they all had issues.
Seems to mess with the mind a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But,
yeah,
I think with the whole shield thing is just it's a symbol, but it's nothing without having something of substance behind it. Yeah. Where we're saying Walker, no one buys him. He's like, yeah, you carry the shield, but you're not Captain America,
right?
And I think it's just there's Hilo. Sam's half of this story is accepting that he needs to, that he can live up to Steve. I'll go take care of him real quick.
I think
Hilo has a lot to say.
Yeah, he's a big fan of the shield. I definitely hear it.
So what do you guys think of the Flag Smashers group after we've gotten a little bit more insight into what they're about?
I feel bad. Like everybody has a cause they're fighting for, but at one point you're hurting other people. When she blew up that building, and he was like, that one guy was like, there were still people in there, and she's like, yeah, well, I forget exactly what she said, but she's like, they only speak one language or something, and it was just like, man.
I'm curious if we're going to see the rest of that organization like sort of push back against Carly, or if they're going to fall in line and just become more and more villainous, because in the comics it's just the character Flag Smasher, and then they made it into this organization. Like I don't know if they're going to end up going kind of more that route, or if it is going to be, well, everybody else just kind of does what Carly says,
Yeah. What was do we know her relationship to the woman that had tuberculosis and died?
Oh, I think they said it in the episode. I have to watch it again. Like
she called her mama a couple times, but I think that was more of a sign of respect.
Yeah.
Okay. I just as soon as we learned that she died, and then we saw her do the bomb thing with her car, I was like, okay, yeah, she is pissed, and she's kind of going off the deep end a little bit too.
I can sympathize with him, but I can only sympathize with him, but to an extent.
Right.
I'm guessing maybe it was like an orphanage kind of situation where like when they had the blip, these people's families disappeared, and so that's how they know each other. Maybe. And she's the person that took care of them. I don't know.
Well, it's almost like, I hate to say it, but Thanos was kind of right. Like some of these people really enjoyed life. I mean, like some people liked life after the blip.
It made life better for some people.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying for some of these people, like
Daniel wants to kill half of the world.
No.
Thanos did nothing wrong.
But yeah, it just seems like some of these people, it made life easier and better for them after it happened. And now that everything's almost chaotic with all of these people coming back, it's, they just want things to be the way they were, and they're going the wrong way about it.
Well, it's like they're struggling now, but not really because there's not enough resources. It's because like the GRC is hoarding resources instead of actually distributing them.
Right.
And now they know that doctor or the scientist guy is dead, and they were like, oh, the Power Broker is going to come to us begging, like, not come after us, but like come to us asking for the serum. So
yeah, I love how like gray area everybody in this story is, you know, because like, okay, the Flag Smashers are bad definitely now after, you know, blowing up that building and everything, but also they were kind of like fighting against a corrupt system that's actually failing people, and those guys aren't really good guys. And then, you know, US Agent isn't really a good guy, and you know, even Bucky and Sam just broke Zemo out of jail and maybe got some people killed in a, you know, prison break. Like, there's not really anybody perfect in this story.
Sharon is selling stolen art.
And Carly is definitely carrying that Memphis Nest energy.
Oh yeah,
100%. Like I just can't even separate the two at the moment.
She's just going to keep, hopefully the Solo 2 series happens, and she's just going to keep bouncing between all these Robin Hood-esque characters.
Oh, this is scary. Yeah. That would explain him not being able to get loans at the bank.
Yeah. I will say that one thing that I hope the next episode has is another scene between Sam and Bucky and John and Battlestar. Like, I really loved that scene in episode 2 of just getting them to talk and all that tension.
Yeah. And then
I'm really curious. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, then there was that final "stay out of my way" thing, you know.
Yeah, you know what's going down. Yeah, they're going to, especially like, you know, like Molly, you were saying, like they were filming Bucky's fight, you know, at that bar. Yeah, they're gonna get it on. It's that may be the thing that breaks. I keep just wanting to call him U.S. Agent, but you know, the thing is going to break him.
Well, I think they need to have another fight, conflict, some confrontation next episode, so that they can have like a final big one.
Yeah, because I think what may happen is of course, you know, Falcon and Bucky, you know, they hand him, they just hand it to him in the fight. Like if they have the first fight, and then, you know, maybe they break, and then they get this super soldier serum from Power Broker and even it out. Maybe that's how this thing ends in some way.
We know from the trailer that they have the shield before the final episode, and like the trailer is them talking about how like we're coworkers, you know, we're not friends, we're coworkers, and we have to go do something else. So at some point they have to get that shield, then US Agent will come for it.
I'm really curious to see if US Agent loses the shield before or after he takes the serum.
I think before,
you know, or so if it's like a reaction to like he loses the shield, and then it's like, okay, now he's really, really desperate to try to get people to respect him, basically.
Oh yeah, all of those
that makes total sense.
All of those insecurities and everything are going to be enhanced. Like he's going to feel like it's going to like make him what he needs to be, but it's just going to boost everything that he's already thinking, you know, and he's just going to be like, nobody respects me, and
I'll show you.
I get no respect. That was terrible. I'm sorry.
How do you think Battlestar is going to go along with this? Like, will he take the serum as well? Because he kind of seems to be trying to rein Walker in a little bit, where he's like, "Come on, man, we don't have any evidence to do this or that." Or
he'll probably begrudgingly go along with it, and then probably be like full in afterwards.
What's his story? Is he in the comics?
Yeah.
Like, does he have any super strength or anything like that? He does.
Yeah, he takes the serum with US Agent in the comics. Like they're partners in the comics too.
Okay, all right.
Also, he has like a stint as like a wrestler for some reason. Like the Power Broker has this weird superpowered wrestling organization.
Yeah,
sure, why not? But he definitely seems like he keeps trying to pull him in, reel him in a little bit, but so I could see him being like, I don't know about the serum thing, and he just kind of like goes along with it. And
I really liked John's line of like, do you really think they're going to question us on how we did it as long as we do it? Like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of that in this episode. Where
Mhm.
with Carly blowing people up, with the scientist, like we said, where he's just, I just want to do the thing.
Yeah.
Breaking
Everyone's like,
Zemo out.
Big
Yeah.
old gray blob. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Eggs and omelets, man. I think everyone just like, yeah, we gotta do what we gotta do to make things happen. So
I loved that line. I think it was Zemo who said it about how easily Bucky fell back into character. And I was like, oh, yeah.
yeah.
Something we haven't talked about yet that I really liked was the phone call with Sarah,
Oh my
with
God,
Sam's
yes.
sister.
He was this
I
close to pulling that off.
Loved that.
Yeah.
Who's Sam?
Also, when he's like, "I'm gonna kill that guy," that's like
And
right
she
when
just,
she
like-
stopped listening.
Wasn't listening. Yeah, I'm gonna kill that banker. And
Yeah.
then she's off talking about Cheerios.
Yeah. Like,
I
Sam,
thought
who's
that was
Sam?
really well
Yeah,
done.
Sam is my nickname. Haha, smiling tiger.
I also that part was great when it was like, yeah, it's your favorite drink. He's like, it's my favorite drink.
Well, and you can tell, like, at first he wasn't trying not to talk because he didn't know how much these people knew the guy that he was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Zemo didn't say if this guy had an accent or not.
Yeah.
He had
Yeah.
no
So-
character to play.
I was hoping to hear like, Mackie do like an African accent of some kind, but
Yeah.
yeah, that'd have been awesome.
Yeah.
That'd have been funny.
What was that shot? Was
It
that
looks
just snake
like-
venom, or
It looked
thing,
like
yeah.
just like maybe the heart of a snake in what I would assume some grain alcohol, perhaps.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Delicious.
No, I think everyone's going to be doing it now.
That once we
I'm
get to
pretty
go
sure
back to
that-
a bar, that's my
I'm
first.
pretty sure
drink
that's already a
alcohol.
thing. I'm pretty sure that is actually a real thing. It's just not
I'm sure it
something
is.
That
It's at most bounty hunter bars, Like
Yeah.
I've been to a few.
And we also haven't. I mean, that's a good point, but I'm just going for the white boy dancing.
oh yeah.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
You know what? I liked seeing Zemo having a good time.
I was
know.
really curious when they
He's-
were doing that, like they were cutting from character to character. I was like, are any of them actually going to be like partying? And then Zemo, of
He was
course.
like, I've been in
He
jail for
was.
6 years.
And he was like
Yeah.
checking out the paintings. He's like, cool, yeah.
I was almost expecting Falcon to just like vomit that right up afterwards. Like
Yeah,
just like
sold him out.
just
I thought maybe he was holding it in his mouth and was just gonna. But that was
just-
worse.
Because when he took it
Maybe
in, he was
you
like,
would, like spit it out as soon as there was the fight broke out or whatever.
Yeah.
I loved his like little hesitation too. He was like,
And then the thumbs up and everything, which was like so suspicious.
I felt like that bartender knew,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
but maybe
like,
he
let's
pitied
see
him.
if he'll drink this. Probably wasn't
I mean,
even his favorite drink.
Right. Well, he knows Smiling Tiger well enough to know the usual.
Yeah.
Or maybe he
Yeah.
does that to everyone that comes up.
Yeah.
It's
There
like
was
all these
only-
people-
it only looked like he had one snake, so I hope no one else wants to order that drink now. 'cause-
True.
Let's say they have a whole slew of like, just snakes.
Snakes and
Yeah.
pots.
Like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Well, do you have any guesses for next week's episode? We got about 5 minutes here before we wrap up.
I'm wondering when, like, we got to see them get that shield.
I think they get the shield
It's
next
gotta be.
episode.
So do you think next episode we're gonna see them get the shield and
the face off.
the kind of the face off, or maybe the new Captain America guy meets with Power Broker?
I bet that'll be like the
That's stuff.
final episode, or thattle be episode 5.
Yeah.
I think
Actually, it
Zemo
just
is
occurred
going
to me. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just think Zemo's definitely going to get punched in the face.
Oh, at least once before.
Yeah.
this
Oh,
whole
yeah.
thing's
Like,
out. yeah. At least.
Yeah,
or
I'm
like Lord
interested to
Hostage.
see- I'm interested to see what AO does, if she's like there for the rest of the show, like we said, or if she's just gonna make a quick cameo in the next episode. Because I can see her kicking some serious butt too.
Yeah.
Love to see that.
I could see her joining the crew, or being. I would prefer her join the crew, but I could see, like, if Zemo got away, then the post-credit scene for the series is like him running into her, and that's kind of it. And we know like, oh,
Yeah.
well,
You're done.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't because we saw that dude's got skills, so maybe he could.
Yeah, but so does
he can
she.
handle his own. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's got that staff hidden somewhere.
Yeah.
It's in a purse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just occurred to me that the snake thing might have been a reference to the original leader of Madripoor, which was Viper. So I don't know. Maybe that was like a little nod at the comic.
I saw something else about the name of that bar.
Oh, somebody asked if that bar was Logan's bar, and it was. Yeah,
The
like Wolverine was
Brass Monkey
going as
something?
Patch, and he was.
so
one
he
of
has
the
a bar in
co-owners of the
Madripoor.
Yeah, for a while he did. Then he disappeared.
Okay, so we talked about this a lot with WandaVision about how like it could be bringing in the mutants. Is this just the Falcon and the Winter Soldier version of like, are they going to do mutants?
I mean, Madripoor would be a really convenient location to have established if they do end up introducing mutants, because Madripoor was full of mutants in the comics.
I can't trust them anymore to bring in the mutants now.
Yeah.
Not after.
Until they bring in the
did
mutants,
was-
I can't trust it.
Yeah. Not going to take the bait again.
I need to see one
I
X
won't be
prominent.
bonered again.
Although I like that Mephisto is the power broker theory.
He isn't.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mephisto is. We're going to work in a Mephisto theory for every show from
that's-
now on.
But then
He's the new
Mephisto a
Snoke.
Skrull, so.
Yeah, I think next episode we have to have Walker confront them. I bet all the filming is going to lead to that. They fight. Walker gets his ass beat, and he loses the shield.
Yeah,
And it
And
ends
then
up
at the
with him.
end, it ends up where?
It ends up with him in the serum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be the
maybe-
end of that episode, or episode 5 is him hunting it down to build up for their final fight in
Right.
episode 6.
So,
Also,
yeah,
I could see maybe like Sam ending up with the shield, still being convinced that he should destroy it, and then maybe Isaiah being involved with convincing him that that's not the right thing to do. You know,
I like that.
How do you destroy vibranium?
Oh yeah, can you destroy it?
Didn't Thanos? Well,
yeah,
crack it.
Thanos broke it.
Yeah.
I mean, they could just break it and be like, "It's all right, it's destroyed."
Wouldn't like the people of Wakanda, like the scientists, like Shuri, wouldn't they know how to?
They could
mess with
probably
it?
melt it down.
Probably
Yeah.
the shield is special. Well, in the comics, I don't know if they really do this in the MCU, but the shield's special because it's a special alloy of vibranium. But
Mm.
I don't think they've really delved into that though in the MCU.
Thurl Unfiction sent in a not a super chat, a Streamlabs. Thanks so much, Thurl, and says that they liked the whole Marvin Gaye bit between Bucky and Sam and Zemo. But also a question that I had kind of forgotten, like, is Falcon going to solve the whole boat money problem? Like that has been not really addressed until kind of today.
Are we going to get our Tony Stark cameo at all?
I'm sure he will, but how?
I think he's going to come back and find that the boat's gone eventually, like because he's been like off doing Falcon things and not paying attention to his like family problems.
See, I would kind of be like, if it was me and I helped save the world and I was gone for 5 years and came back, couldn't get a loan, I would definitely go to Tony and be like, hey, do you own a bank? We're friends, right?
Could you loan me a few bucks?
Yeah.
I mean, Tony's gone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's
I'm
right.
sorry.
Hey,
I'm
Pepper.
sorry.
Hey Pepper, can you
I didn't
loan
mean
me a few
Pepper.
bucks?
There's the Stark Foundation.
I didn't know if you're just in denial. That
Yeah.
he was really
You
dead.
know what? I
He's
am.
still-
I
he's
just
still
I
here.
want Tony to be around still. That
But
was
still,
a brain
it seems
fart.
like, Pepper could be like, here's some money to get your boat.
There's definitely a way to. There's some friends in high places after you've saved the world. I just
Yeah.
really.
It's got to help
bothers
your
me.
credit out or something. For saving
Yeah.
the world. It's got.
Well,
Well,
Yeah,
really,
I'm-
just like
couple
if
of
he can,
points.
and if he can make a drone like Red Wing, couldn't he just make one and sell it and buy a boat? Like that's probably worth a lot of money.
I mean, people were pointing out that the whole kind of idea behind the boat was he didn't want to give up this symbol of his parents' legacy.
Yeah.
And so it ties in with him not wanting to accept this symbol of his friend's legacy.
Mm.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm interested. I kind of forgot about the boat, and I want to see how that plays into his journey of acceptance.
Yeah, he's really struggling with wanting to stay true to who he is and his family, but then I think deep down he knows like he needs to do the right thing, get the shield, take up that mantle, and he can't do both.
Right.
And he's like, and his sister was like, look, man, I know your deal. You got a lot going on. And he, was pushing back about the boat stuff. So yeah, he'll have to make some tough decisions.
Well, that's a good place to stop. I think we've been going like right an hour. So that's perfect.
But maybe you can make Zemo buy him a boat.
Right? Yeah. Make him sell one of those
plenty of money.
Cars.
Yeah. It's
Steal
true.
one of his cars and sell it.
Yeah.
I'm really dirty money though.
One of his cars might turn into a boat.
There you go.
And thus the Transformers crossover begins.
Oh no.
Next season, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Cybertron.
Well, Chris, Daniel, thanks so much for joining us for today's episode. Where can people find you online?
Yeah. You can find us at Broaxium on Twitter, Broaxium on YouTube. And you can find me at Stay on Target 42. Chris?
You can find me at Chris Ryan's.
Pretty simple.
That's it. Yeah.
And the Tony Stark denial is real.
It's okay. You'll be okay. Ashton, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitch at Yeti Boatman, and I do streams on Tuesdays. And then starting week after this week, I'll have one on Wednesdays with Mark from Tiplin Institute.
Molly?
I'm at Molly Damon on Twitter and Twitch, and you can find me with Alex talking about Star Wars all the time over on Star Wars Explained. And if you are into the Schmodown, you can check me out on A Certain Point of View. We are doing a live reaction to the match tonight. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And I'll be back on Twitch on Monday, and I'm building a Lego set for our Monday build, but I don't know what I'm building yet, so I'll figure that out. But thank you all so much for hanging out and watching, and we'll see you next time.